Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
voting booths.
Yeah.
Let's get petitions to get, voting booths and stuff in churches
Yeah.
on Sundays and stuff. Let's get people voting so that. But
So
no,
let me
that doesn't
let me
happen.
slow. Are you saying if the Black Lives Matter movement embodied King's approach to protesting, they won't just show up when it's time to protest, but they'll be preventative. They'll show up. They'll do what they need to do before it's time to rally and fight. It's more of a I guess well-rounded, thought out movement. Is that what you're saying?
So let me say this. I'm not an expert on the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm going
Yeah.
to a meeting tonight. I want to get informed myself.
Yeah.
But what I do see in a lot of movements now is that they do not understand some of the fundamental things that King understood.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying King was perfect. I'm not saying that his movement was incredible, but they don't understand certain things.
What are some of those fundamental things? Because I think if they don't understand it, we have a perfect opportunity to kind of lay some information out that they can build on, or that they can add to what they're already doing.
Right. So, okay, one of the things is you have to force a structural change.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So part of the purpose of marching in King's Day was not to just protest.
Mm-hmm.
It was also to fill the jails, because once the jails are filled, people have to respond, because they can't they can't keep filling up the jails, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so they would strategically pick places where they knew they could fill up the jails, and then you would have to deal with the issue. You
can't hide them behind bars, because now they're in your streets and you have no place to put them.
Right. And your method for dealing with people who are continually protesting.
So am I hearing you say Black Lives Matter movement members might be afraid to be imprisoned?
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I think that they have to structure
somebody could think we're hating on the movement when I don't feel like that's the place we're coming from. So I just want to make sure we're also naming the other perceptions of our conversation right now, because Black lives do matter, and I'm totally in support of that. I think we can also build and collaborate in a way that makes our movements even more better.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we have to do, right? Like, I think that if part of what the Black Lives Matter movement has to do now is say midterm elections are coming up, we have to make it so people vote to get the people who we need in office, the people who support policies that are about diversity and inclusion into office.
So you need marchers and you need voters, is what I'm hearing. You need both.
Yeah.
Both ends.
Yes, absolutely.
Marchers and voters.
Absolutely. And that does not happen by saying you need to go vote. That happens by you picking people up, taking them to go vote.
Right. So let's get out, y'all, all our followers, viewers. Let's get out and vote, because it does take some differences and some changes in our voting practices. So I'm down for the fight, but I'm also down for the vote. Back to it. Yeah. So yeah, Dr. J, we're talking about Trump. We're talking about things that's going out in Charlottesville, Virginia, talking about different movements. When I think about all this in the concept and the idea of change, how does change happen? Martin Luther King, he made some change happen. He made some things, end up different for us all. So considering how he made the movement happen, considering some of the similarities that we are facing and the traumas that we're facing as we protest, how do we embody King in a way that people aren't saying, because we're gonna, if we have Kings out there, we're gonna also have Malcolm X's, radical Malcolm X's, right?
Right.
So how do we learn from our history, and how do we learn from what the divisions even in the civil rights movement era happened? How do we bring it all together now in a way that this is what our parents done? How can we build and make our movements even more better?
Yeah, dude, that's a good question. I think the first thing is, I really don't think that I don't find any place for being super divisive, right? Like, I'm sure that they said things about the other person. I never read anything about King really bad-mouthing Malcolm X, right? I never read anything about Malcolm X saying anything that was like horrible about King. I mean, he was like, you need to be more aggressive, but
So in a lot of what I know about the drama, the rap battles during the civil rights movements, if you will, is it's people interpreting their speeches about what they might mean to the other group, right? So it's
Yes,
somebody else's
yes,
perceptions of what they're saying,
yes.
just like we do now. Oh, he taking shots at Drake. Well, he might not even be taking shots at Drake, you know?
Right.
So it's a matter of media influence and the perceptions of things too back then. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a huge part of the problem. And so, like, you know, like I know people who are like Al Sharpton, nah, nah, nah. Like I got
Yeah.
nothing about. I'm not gonna be out there with him. I'm more likely going to be out with the Black Lives Matter movement. But I'm not going to be against Al Sharpton. Like,
yeah.
what's the point in that?
Let me hear your perception, because at the end of the day, we want Black people to thrive and not just be surviving. So let me hear what you got going for me, and I'll offer some stuff to you, and hopefully we can work on the issue from different directions and meet at the middle someplace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what was your perspective of this past weekend with all the stuff that was going on?
To be honest, man, like it was a very hard situation for me, because I'm really trying to embody in my life the sense of positivity, the sense of love and compassion for just people, and people are functioning to the best of ability. But when the trauma hits home for me, when it's that close, and it's like you see the rage and hate, and you see the tiki torches, and I'm gonna keep saying tiki torches because I gotta laugh about this shit, man. I really gotta laugh.
Somebody's mom was at Walmart, right?
Somebody shopping. Somebody's wife was at Walmart talking about, baby, get the mosquitoes. Out for the mosquitoes, baby. Watch out. Make sure you get that anti-mosquito ointment on too to some bites. Like let's be honest. Like, they don't hate like they used to hate either. They out here hating with tiki torches, right? What happened to the kerosene lamps and the sticks with the wool around it? Like, come on.
Well, what even happened to I don't want to be seen, right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
no, I don't care anymore. I'm just out here in the open.
Right? They don't even. This is a whole different type of hate. This is a Walmart. This is a fashion hate. Like, who has a tiki torch? Like, who? Like, and it's a mass amount of them. So it was a planned incident, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I say all that to say, man, I have to laugh because it really rocked a lot of my moral stances on some things. And so once I'm reevaluating myself as a man, as a Black man, and how I want to be in this world, I gotta withdraw. But there is one image up, and I'm gonna post it on Urban Spirituality.
Let me slow you down, because I wanted to dig into something. You said I gotta reevaluate. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So when I say reevaluate, man, is that I'm often entering conversations with people on my Facebook feed, just talking to them and trying to have this stance of compassion, right? But for me to see what happened and see that there's people dead, and the type of hate, and then what happened, there was a parallel image I saw of civil rights hate and today's hate, and the similarities rocked me. I felt angry. I felt mad. I felt disappointed. I felt sad. I felt shamed. I felt so intense emotion that all of those feelings, all the hate I see on my Facebook, I was embodied in it. And that's not a place I like to sit for me, for my own mental health, for my own physical health. And so I had to really, once again, evaluate, do I get sucked into the climate of the times, or do I do what I know it's right for me in this moment and how to handle this? And so I had to really soul search for a moment. And at the end of the day, guess what? I still have compassion for the pain that those men must be feeling to have to run a car into a crowd. Don't mean I have compassion for them running the fucking car into the crowd, but at the same time, I can have compassion for them and their hurt and just hope that they heal. Because if they don't heal, guess what? That's going to be another car into a crowd. That's going to be somebody else being lynched and hanged. That's going to be somebody else's kid, being sold into some sex trafficking ring, because guess what? They have their own pain that we're not even trying to address. We're going to have other dictators. We're going to have other Trumps in positions of power because we ignore certain types of people's pain. And at the end of the day, I'm at fault for that. Part of me is at fault. My interest is helping minorities get out of their stuckness. It's not helping white people get out of their stuckness. And so at the end of the day, I got to evaluate how I'm contributing to the problem and perpetuating things like Trump becoming president. Yeah. Maybe if I had a collection of articles, a collections of books that talk about white suffering and white pain and white trauma, maybe we would have resources for them so that when Trump comes along, he's not just picking on their wounds so he can get in a position to be a fucking dictator. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm angry. I'm pissed off. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at people like the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm mad at people that kind of perpetuate hate. what Martin Luther King say? We're talking about Martin Luther King, right? Violence begets more violence. Hate begets more hate. So why don't we just love and try to hope that loves come back to us? I'm angry and I'm mad, but I hope that I can find out a place for me where I can love my anger and keep proceeding. So I feel like I just went off. But
Nah,
yeah.